Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm Rhonda and today I'm going to be working with an older collection from close to my heart called Daisy Daisy. I do love this collection. It's so springy. I love the greens and the pinks. Of course, pink is my favorite color, so it's hard not to like this collection. And I'm working with my little granddaughter. She's my Sunday school buddy. And so we were dressed for Sunday school and she wanted me to take her picture. So I'm going to be working with this, and these papers, this collection is no longer available. However, you can use this same technique with any of your pictures and with the current collections. This one came with this really pretty sticker sheet that I'm going to be using. And then I'm also going to bounce off of this design right here. This is sketch number 94 by Susan Stringfellow at sketchsavvy.blogspot.com. And I think I want to use this as my inspiration design. It may not look anything like this when I get finished, but at least this is an idea that I can bounce off of. So let's get started. The first thing that I like to do when I start a page is to audition my design papers. So let's start with this flower. I think it's probably a little bit busier than what I want for my background paper, but I do like to just put the photo up against it and just see how I think it's going to work. The smaller daisies might also be a little bit too big, but I do like this soft pink as my background. I also like the stripe because it kind of matches her jumpsuit, so that will probably work. And then I'm not really feeling this one. I'll set that aside, but I like the dark green. I can use that as one of my banners. So now I'm just going to determine which one of these I prefer for the background, and I think that the softer pink is going to be the one because it won't take away from the photo. Now, the next thing that I want to do is decide which piece I want directly behind her photo. Again, I think this one might be a little bit too busy, so I want to bring in the smaller daisy, and I do like it with the softer pink. But I have a feeling that I'm going to go with this stripe just because it goes so well with her jumpsuit. So if I use the stripe to go behind her photo, then I need to find something for the banners that you see. There's two dovetail pieces in this design, and I need to find something for those as well as the scallop. So let me first of all try this dark green. And I think that's going to wind up being my larger banner. And then let me see what else I might want for the smaller banner. And you know, I can use a solid. So let me bring in this flamingo that I have and see how that's going to work. And I believe that's going to be perfect. Now this set came with stamps and thin cuts for these daisies. And I definitely want to work them into my design somehow. The inspiration piece has flowers in it, so I'm pretty sure that I will wind up using some of these daisies. The Versamat is great when you're working on your layout because you can line everything up and make sure that you get it even. Let's see, I'm going to put down some little glue dots to hold my base paper still. I don't see them right here handy on my desk, so I'm just going to put a couple of pieces of tape on here that will come off easily. And then I'm going to adhere my base page to my Versamat. All right, now there's not measurements on this inspiration piece, so I'll just figure out my own measurements. And, you know, one of the things that I always do is I back my photo in white and black. And that's just my style. It's the way I like it. I feel like it makes my picture pop. So I will also try to bring in a little bit of black to kind of go with this paper here. I'm not going to get my background piece because a lot of it shows and it was probably be more trouble than it's worth. I'm just trying to decide how big I want my design paper that's going to be behind my photo. And I might want it probably not more than 7 inches wide. And then let me see how long I would want it. Probably 8. So I'm going to cut it 7 by 8. Yes. So let me get that cut. Okay, so I cut this 7 by 8. And I think that's going to work. So I'm going to bring in my first dovetail piece, and I want it to be this piece here. Now I will decide if I want it back behind there, all the way behind the stripe paper, or if I want it just behind the photo. And I think I'm going to cut it, let's see. I think I'm going to cut this one 3 by 12 because remember I have to dovetail it. So I want to, be able to have my tails. All right, 3 by 12. Be right back. Okay, I've cut this 3 by 12. I haven't dovetailed it yet because I'm still playing around. So I'm going to decide if I want it all the way behind the stripe. Probably not. I'm probably going to put it here. Now I'm going to bring in my other piece, and it's going to be a solid pink, and it'll be on the green. So I think I'll cut this one. Let's see, I did this one 3. Okay, I'm going to cut the pink 1.5 inches by 12. I'll be cutting it down a little bit further than that because of the dovetail. Okay, here we go. I got my pink cut 1.5 by 12. I'll dovetail it in just a minute. And I will even up this paper. I'll center it probably. Now we also have a piece down here that has scallops. I might just use one of my rulers and just, this is scallopy enough to me without having to get out my Cricut for right now. I'll probably just tear some paper. So let me decide which one I want. I think I want to use the flowers for my scallop. So I brought in another Versamat so I can make sure that I get this even when I'm tearing it. And to make it easier to tear, I'm going to do it at the 3-inch mark. And then I'm just going to pull toward me. Okay, you can see that it leaves a little bit of white, which is great. I love it. Everyone does their dovetailing a little bit different, but I'm lazy, so I just kind of fold it over like so and cut. And it's not, the crease is not really going to show once I get everything on here. All right, let me see. So it's still too long, so I'm going to go about right here. Okay, I like that. So this is going to be down here, and it's going to be peeking out from under this piece right here. And I don't want this showing. So let me see. This is going to wind up being about what? Let's measure this. I'm going to say 1.25 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this flower piece at 1.25 inches. Okay, I'm going to have it about like that. And once I get this piece adhered to this piece, I'll just snip off these little tiny, tiny pieces that are showing. Okay, again, this piece is 8 by 7. And I want it to be evenly aligned when I start to adhere it. So I'll use my T-ruler to get it even when I get ready to adhere it down. I'm still just playing. So now let me bring in my scallop. And it'll be about right there. And this first dovetail is going to be about here. My pink will be about here. Knocked that off, didn't I? Well, okay, let's start all over. See, things don't always go as planned, and that is okay. I'm not ready to adhere anything anyway. I'm still just dry fitting. Okay, I like it so far. Now I'm going to ink the edges of each of my design pieces. I feel like inking the edges just kind of helps it pop from the other pieces, especially when they're laying on top of each other. Just that little hint of brown or black, whichever ink you prefer, on those design pieces just really helps it stand out. A lot of people don't like it, but it's kind of my style. All right, let me get the rest of these inked and then I'll be right back. So the inspiration design has a little piece of paper here where you can do your journaling. And I think I'm going to get some white daisy and cut me a piece. I might draw some lines on it for my journaling, or I might leave it plain and do my journaling on the computer, because I've mentioned before that I really like Architect's Daughter for a journaling font, and I just get it from dafont.com. I've brought in my white journaling piece and I have it placed where I want it, and I'm going to use these flowers here. I think that I want to use the one that has mostly pink on it so that it doesn't fall down into the softer background paper. The white one is just, it's too soft. And I think that's the only pink one that I have. Yes, okay, I'm going to use this one. And I also wanted the scallops on the top to kind of match the scallops at the bottom. So I just tore it a little bit since I didn't have a smaller scallop. Now I want to go ahead and ink the edges on this also so that I can be consistent with the design that I have going on. And I know not a lot of people like everything inked, but again, it's just kind of what I like and how I want it to look. All right. Now, I had mentioned that I wanted a little bit of black in there to kind of coordinate with the black background. And so I punched out all of these die cuts from the kit, and I'm just going to work these little black flower buds, leaves in there, and they're just not big enough. But this set did come with a stamp that has a leaf in it, and I think I'm going to stamp and fussy cut some of these using maybe green ink. So I have my Versamat and I've turned it over so that the cushion side is up. I have my stamp on my block, and I'm just going to season it by rubbing it on my arm a little bit. And now I'm going to bring in my ink and ink up my stamp, and then I will just gently place it onto the white cardstock. And if you will just hold that stamp down for just a little bit, it gives the ink time to soak into that white daisy. All right, I'm going to stamp a few more of these, and then I will get them fussy cut, and we'll see how they look on the page. Again, ink up your stamp, press it down, hold it, kind of get all of the ink off the edges if you do have some on your block. Hold it down a little bit, and look what a nice clean stamp you get. It works great if you use a cushion, any kind of cushion behind there, but the Versamat is just that, versatile, because you have the grid on one side and then your cushion on the other side. I got the leaves stamped and cut, and I don't like it at all because it's too much white. So now I have to go back to the drawing board, and I think I want to cut some in the green. Now you're going to get to watch me worry this design with my embellishments, and you know that you can spend quite a while doing that. The design has this strip that's probably ribbon, and then it has the bow on it. But I'm going to bring in one of the zip strips and possibly use this bow from the die cuts. But I don't know yet. We'll just kind of play around with that and see what I like. Okay, I want to put some of the clover leaves back behind the pink daisy. And I love the way this looks because it just helps it pop out. This comes from the sticker sheet, and I thought maybe I would use that, but I'm not crazy about it. I feel like it sinks too far into the background paper. And then I thought, well, maybe I can use some of the leaves from the sticker pack, but I didn't like that they are so different. So again, I'm just going to come in and use the leaves that I cut from the stamp set, and now I'll just play around with different looks. I like the white with the green. I think that helps. And then I'll bring back in my black buds and place those in there. And anytime you're scrapbooking, don't be afraid to just put stuff in, take it out. Just rearrange it until you're happy with the way it looks. Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm going to be the only one that knows how much time I spent tweaking this and getting it exactly like I wanted it. Okay, now I'm going to work with this cluster in the lower left-hand corner. And I'm bringing in some of those white leaves that I originally didn't think would work with this layout, but they actually look great. And then I'll bring in the little black buds to mirror my cluster in my top right corner. I'm liking the way it looks. This collection did come with these die cuts, the little black flower die cuts, and I thought I might could work some of those in there, but I end up not using them. I just felt like it was probably too much. I will use these little hearts that came with the collection, the die cuts. And you can see that the inspiration design has that little flag at the top. And I thought, well, I could maybe use one of these flags up there, but you'll see in the end that I don't use them. I think they're gorgeous and I will use them eventually, but I didn't use them on this layout. But isn't this sticker sheet so pretty? I can't wait to use it on a future layout. Now that I have everything the way that I want it, I'm going to adhere it down to my page. I like the cluster in the right-hand corner with the little hearts, and I'll probably put some other embellishment there, and then the one in the lower corner. Okay, as you can see by the different nail color, it's a different day. But honestly, I had to sleep on the layout because you could see that I was going back and forth. I really couldn't figure out how I wanted my embellishments. So I wound up, I've got the little cluster here, and then I used the butterfly from the sticker sheet and some of the black embellishments. And then I have some black pearls here. I used this from the die cuts to kind of tie in the black, and then I used some of the hearts. I've got my journaling here. It says, "You are my little Sunday school buddy. I love you going places with me and keeping me company. Nana." I used the arrow from the die cuts, and then this cluster here, I wound up mixing in some of the green and the white leaves. And of course, I've got my beautiful daisy. Those are fun to make. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this layout. I actually had a blast creating it, but I do love anything that has to do with my grandkids. So if you would please, I would like for you to subscribe to my channel and hit that like button and hit the notification bell so you can get my videos as I post them. Thank you for stopping by.